Hello there everyone, how's it going? Today we have for unboxing the first of 3 weather radios I recently ordered, although one of them may or may not be shipping, so I may have to look into a different one for that. But anyway, this one I believe is a decently rare RadioShack radio, which is basically their version of the General Electric 7-4845A, that being the RadioShack 12-1627. Which also has a neat alert tone feature that I don't know if any other RadioShack 1050 Hz radios except the 12260 and 12550 had. And unfortunately, I just realized I twisted the box around to the side that showed the camera, the shipping information, so I'll have to blur that out, unfortunately, but anyway, here it is. Okay, the battery cover is off, but it seems to be in perfectly fine condition. And there's a date code sticker of May 2001. Nice. I was hoping to get an indication of approximately how old this thing is. It's a weird battery cover design, but there we go. Oh wow, the cord's sticky right here. Oh, that's okay. I can clean that up with some Goo Gone. So here it is. Let's press all the buttons to wish it good luck in service. Oh, nice. That's a push-in kind of button. You know, some of these radios like this seem to get audio issues, like the speaker gets really quiet or distorted or both. So I really hope this one works. But at least it wasn't too expensive. And here, back here, is the interesting alert tone feature, although this switch is not really easy to move. It looks like it was set to channel 5, which is great for me because just earlier today on channel 5 came in this winter storm warning. Very, very rare where I live. So we'll see if it gets reception on that station. That's KXI 22. They're pretty far away, but still can be one of my main stations on a decent radio. And let's just make sure alert test is off. And now let's plug this in. Okay. Okay, nice. Sounds like the audio works. Volume knob or wheel is a little scratchy, but that can be fixed with some deoxit. That's all the way up. It's not super loud, but there it is. And that is actually channel 5. Nice. This thing gets good reception, or at least decent reception. For a radio of this age, that's not too bad.
Additional details can be found at
That's my main station, WXJ53.
The current time is 12:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, speaker is not that loud, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
It was sunny. The temperature.
All right, and let's just check KEC 80.
DeKalb, Douglas, Fayette, or Site.
Oh, that leaf blower across the street's so loud.
South Fulton and Walton.
Okay.
What periods of
Well, that
snow,
sounds fine.
sleet, and freezing rain that could be heavy at times.
Oh yeah, that
Total
sounds
snow
wonderful.
accumulations of 2 to 4 inches in northern Georgia and up to 2 inches in metro Atlanta.
Jeez.
Ice accumulations precipitations up to 0.2 of an inch are possible. At Cornelia, it was sunny.
Okay, that's a crazy forecast to hear. Let's go with the alert test. Our alert tone is set to off, so let's just see what happens first. We got the flashing light, just like on the GE model. And if alert tone is on, nothing happens. Let's try testing it again. It's possible this switch needs to be deoxidized. Yep. It just has some oxidization on there. All right.
Wind northeast at 6.
On the alert tone, it does sound a tiny bit distorted, but that's to be expected for something like this with a somewhat quiet speaker already. So I think this thing works perfectly. Now let's check the AM and FM reception. All right, how do we turn that on? Oh, cool, there's a dimmer. That's nice and bright, at least compared to the lower level. And actually, let's first set the time so it stops flashing. It's currently 12:21, and unfortunately, PM is not selected on here. Unless, oh no, now it is. I just couldn't see the indicator. Okay, let's go all the way around again. There we go. Nice. Oh, I said it was 12:21, didn't I? Okay, whatever. Sleep. Jeez. And I'm guessing snooze would be sleep off. Yep. It doesn't have that labeled, but it is. Let's do AM. So both of those seem to work. All the way down? Sounds like that.
Yeah, and you can support the family. I know we
The dial is pretty short, but seems to have a reasonably geared wheel here. You might be able to see where it is. It's right there. And as I move the wheel, it's not too finicky. In other words, it's relatively easy to tune into a station. It's not like moving the wheel. A quarter inch changes the whole station. And it sounds like it's getting a fair number of stations. So that's good. And let's just check FM to make sure it's working, even though I can't play very much from it. Yeah, it sounds like it's working okay. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Yep, it's this cord. I think it's using the power cord as the antenna, which a lot of radios do, annoyingly. But at least this one, unlike the GE one, has an actual antenna instead of a dumb little 1 foot long wire that you have to wrap around the power cord in order to get any decent reception on weather band. And actually, it's not even decent, it's just workable. Let me grab my WR300 and turn on the jazz station so we can compare it. If I can find it on here. Well, I'm not really hearing the jazz station on here. Okay, well, anyway, I'll find that some other time when the audio's not going to be going on YouTube, I guess. See if there is a way to actually turn on the radio. I think it might be this switch here. Unless that's just for the alarm clock. Auto. On, off, auto, and alarm. That's kind of confusing. I may have to find the manual. Oh no, there we go. Alright, so that's the switch that turns on the radio. I wonder if that's interference from the yard crew across the street. Sometimes yard equipment seems to emit AM signals. How annoying. Okay, anyway. Oh, and nice. It doesn't sound like it has that weird thing like the GE version of this does, where whenever you turn it on or off, it takes a few extra seconds and makes like a weird fading out and in and out again sound.
Combined ice and snow possible. Where? Portions of north.
Alright, now, lastly, on the back here, for the alert switch, for the tone mode, we've got 3 modes: lock, signal, and voice. So I've heard that voice means it plays the tone for a few seconds and then switches to the broadcast for, I'm assuming, 5 minutes, and then turns back off. Which is really nice to have on a 1050 hertz radio, especially from RadioShack. So let's see if that makes it, let's see if that happens when it does the alert test. No, it doesn't sound like it. Okay. Well, especially if we get more winter weather alerts later today, I should have a chance to test this out. I like that it has the NOAA Weather Radio logo. Again, something the GE version does not have. Okay, actually, I just realized something that I really want to test out. What happens if you turn off alert tone and leave it in voice mode? Alright, so nothing at first, but I'm guessing if this is how you actually have it operating, then it would just play a few seconds of silence as it flashes the light and then hopefully switch to voice, which would be an incredible feature for a RadioShack 1050Hz activated radio to have. I really want to test this out now. Hopefully, next week's required weekly test won't be cancelled like this week's. And I did just find the jazz station. Nice.
Chattanooga. It was sunny and 20.
And here is a look at the GE version in case you haven't seen it or want to visually compare it. I'll probably do a special video comparing these two. Mine has distorted audio, unfortunately. Here's that dumb little antenna wire. You can see I have a twist tie wrapping it around the power cord so that it at least picks up some extra signals from the cord. Oops. The light on here is brighter. Volume wheel's also scratchy on this one. And that is channel 7, it's just not picking up anything. Oh, there's something on channel 6. Yeah, so... Oh, there we go.
Accumulating frozen precipitation is not anticipated until Friday morning.
And that's as loud as it goes.
Now the extended outlook period Friday through Wednesday, below normal temperatures will continue.
So yeah, as you can hear, the RadioShack version is not exactly a fantastic radio, but it's way better than this GE piece of junk. The GE one was made by... Where is it on here? You might be able to see it here. Thomson Consumer Electronics, also known as the Thomsons. They've made pretty junky electronics for General Electric for quite some time. And other brands too. I have some RCA wireless phone jacks from Thomson that of course died 2 weeks after I unboxed them. And then here's how the alert tone on this one sounds. Actually not quite as distorted on the higher pitched tone at those two low and high tones that it alternates between as the RadioShack one. But of course, as you heard, the voice itself sounded pretty distorted. And there is no voice mode on this thing. On the back, there's just the alert test switch and the channel switch. And as for AM/FM, that is AM. And there's FM.
Their homes. Those winds that drove the flames and prompted chaotic evacuations have calmed somewhat and are not expected
all
to
the
be
way
as
up.
powerful today. That could provide an
It's kind of quiet. A bit quieter than I remember, actually. I wonder if the speaker is going bad in this thing. Let's see if we can tune into anything on AM here. It might be WDUN, extremely quiet.
set aside as a national day of mourning for former President Jimmy Carter.
Oh, there we go.
Died at the age of 100 on December 29th. At this hour, President Carter is returning to his hometown of Plains to be buried next to his wife, Rosalind Carter.
And then I don't even think there's a dimmer on this. And then here's what I was talking about with the weird audio fading in and out thing. If you turn on sleep and turn it back off like this, it takes a while for it to actually turn off. And when you turn on alarm, at least it used to, maybe. Well, maybe it's just when you plug it in for the first time, it kind of turns on the AM radio for a few seconds or whatever mode it's in. It's just kind of a weird piece of equipment. Just unplug it and show you one last thing on the RadioShack version that I just noticed. So thankfully, it does not have an annoying flashing low battery indicator. It does have a low battery indicator, which is labeled Battery Sentinel. That's a wording I've only ever seen on one radio before, which is a 1986 realistic Chronomatic-244 clock radio without weather alert, and it's just a green dot that comes up there. And one last thing I want to test is, how does it do when you try to turn on the weather radio when it's already listening to a different radio?
For updates on this hazardous situation, any slight deviation.
Alright, works just fine. And nope, that is the alert tone switch. Okay. Now, that should be it for the unboxing and setup of this RadioShack weather radio alert. Category number 12-1627. Made in 2001. This is a pretty neat little radio. Thanks for watching.